Moon. The day Zombies was finished. Actually, Moon wasn't even supposed to exist. This map originally was supposed to be Paris. Whether we are lucky that we never got that Paris map, I guess we'll never know. I suppose it also depends on whether you like Moon or not. Personally, I think it's okay. It's never been my favourite map. I've always found it a little bit frustrating to play just because of some of the features, the excavators, having to go back and forth between Area 51 and Moon. I've also never really been keen on Zombies maps where you have a constant enemy chasing you around, even though the astronaut isn't too much of a problem. I always thought George was much worse on Call of the Dead. Moon was never one of my favourite maps. I also don't think it's the worst. It's okay, but I do from time to time think, well, what if? What if this map never existed and we did get that Paris map? Maybe you're thinking, Eli, what are you on about? Paris? If you aren't a hardcore Zombies fan, then maybe you won't know this, but the original plan for the final Zombies map on BO1 was it was going to take place in Paris. Underneath the Eiffel Tower, there was going to be a teleporter that would then teleport you to a no man's land area where the Pack-a-Punch machine would be. You can see a relation between this Paris map and Moon. The Paris map was also going to include the catacombs, but it was cut, and instead we got this. Anyway, the whole point of today's video is to take a deeper dive into Moon, what made this map, and just set our minds back to, well, I suppose there's people that still play Moon, but back to when it was the peak, because during the time of when this released, in Black Ops 1, 2011, DLC 4, if you think of what we had before this, Ascension, Shangri-La, Call of the Dead, or we go back to World at War with Derice, Shinonuma, Verrucht, Nacht, I think Zombies before this was very basic. And then all of a sudden for us to go to the Moon, it was a massive leap. It was definitely, even until this day, with us having maps like Origins, Gorod Karovi, I still think it's one of the biggest, most ambitious Zombies maps we've ever had. And especially with that Easter egg ending of us blowing up Earth, leaving us on that cliffhanger saying, well, what's going to happen next? Is that the end of Zombies? We've blown up the Earth. Richtofen has achieved his grand scheme of switching bodies with Samantha. He's now in control of the undead. A lot of people were thinking, well, where can Zombies go from here? Is this the end? Little did we know, we weren't even really halfway through the Ether timeline. So taking a look at the gameplay and features side, Area 51, otherwise known as Groom Lake or No Man's Land, was a really interesting concept because not only was it the starting area, but unlike any other Zombies map, it had unlimited zombies. Just going off the top of my head, the only other Zombies map that has done this since is Forsaken, the starting area in that game. But even then, it's different because we have rounds in Forsaken, whereas in Area 51 we don't. So you can stay here for as long as you want and you're not going to see the round counter increase. You can kill zombie after zombie and they're just going to keep constantly spawning. This was also the location of the Pack-a-Punch, which again is strange because we never really have Pack-a-Punch machines in the starting area of maps. And it was also the location of either Juggernog or Speedcola. Every time you returned here via the teleporter, it would be randomized between those two perks, which would make for an interesting challenge because you could, if you were smart enough, if you were good enough, using your starting pistol, your knife and your grenades, you could kill enough zombies to save up for Juggernog straight off the bat on round 1. But essentially what most people do in Area 51 is spend 30 seconds here, kill a few zombies, gain a few hundred points, and then leave and teleport to the Moon. Normally you'd come back here when you turn the power on and gain enough points to Pack-a-Punch and purchase another perk, so say by round 10, something like that. But even when you do return with some better weapons and perks, it's still difficult because you could never catch a break. There's always an infinite number of zombies chasing you. But it made for a different challenge. It made for a more faster paced, unique version of zombies, and that describes Moon's playstyle entirely. Because of the low gravity we had on Moon, the zombies moved in unpredictable directions. One minute they could just be slow floating through the air, and the next they could come at you quick, double swipe you, you could get downed. That sort of unpredictable playstyle compared to the fastness of Area 51. Moon was not an easy map, but one thing that did make it a little bit easier was the wonder weapon, and that was the Wavegun. Now, unfortunately, because Moon's never really been one of my favourite maps, I haven't gotten a chance to use this as much as I'd love to, and when I say that I mean maybe more than 100 times, but whenever I have, it is an extremely fun wonder weapon. It can be taken apart so it becomes the zap gun, it becomes dual wield, or you can put it together where it becomes the Wavegun. You can obtain it in 2 different ways, either from the mystery box or you can also get it from the QED. In its dual-wield zap gun form, it fires red balls of electricity that kills the zombies when it touches them. Compared to a lot of wonder weapons in zombies, the zap gun is very good because it's always a one-shot kill. It doesn't phase out on those higher rounds, and it's got a very long range as well. Again, unlike some wonder weapons, let's say the thunder gun, the range on that is limited. This isn't. The zap gun is one of the best wonder weapons in the game. And then when you combine the two and make the Wavegun, this one is very fun because it fires a purple beam at zombies, and any zombie that is caught in its radius starts to blow up. They begin to expand and then they die. And again, this is another insta-kill at any round. Because of the Wavegun's large mag, its ability to change modes instantly, and its infinite damage, it's a very, very good wonder weapon. I'd even go as far as to say it's underrated. I don't really see many people talking about it. When I see people's lists of the best wonder weapons ever, it's usually the Wunderwaffe or the Thunder Gun. I do think the Wavegun is underrated. It does of course have its downfalls, but this thing deserves more credit. Another thing that people count as a wonder weapon, I suppose it is, but not in the sense that we're used to, is the QED, so the Quantum Entanglement device. But this is an extremely unique weapon. We've never seen anything like it in zombies before. If you haven't used it, then it's a little bit difficult to explain how it works. It can either help you or not. Basically, it's a device kind of like a grenade where you throw it and then you either get something good from it or it gives you something bad. So there are tons of different effects. I can't go through all of them. Say for example, if you throw it, it can turn into a weapon like a grenade launcher or a pistol, a shotgun. It will just start firing and shooting at zombies surrounding it. If you throw it at down teammates, it can revive them. It can also spawn power-ups, random guns, pack-a-punched weapons as well. It can also turn into a ghost device. If you throw it at doors, it can open them for free. It can act as different wonder weapons, say the Wunderwaffe. A ball of electricity will shoot from the QED and affect zombies surrounding it. It can also become the scavenger, make explosions like the Matryoshka dolls that we saw in Ascension, turn zombies onto our side, change weapons that we currently have into pack-a-punch weapons, give us free perks, and that's just a few of its abilities. There are loads and loads. Even now, what are we, 10 years later since this map released, I don't think I've gotten even half of its abilities. So yeah, a very unique weapon. And then a few other things I wanted to talk about on Moon was, 1, the bosses on this map. There are 3 different ones. I would count the Astronaut, but also the Crawlers and the Hellhounds. The Astronaut is, I'm going to be honest, pretty easy to kill. Like I said earlier, nowhere near as annoying as George, although having that constant threat of someone following you around, if you're not paying attention, can catch you off guard. If he catches you, he's going to headbutt you and teleport you. Sometimes you can be teleported into a bunch of zombies, which can lead to your death, so you do have to be careful, but I still prefer this guy over George. The other enemy is the Crawlers. These I don't like because unlike the ones we've seen in Kino, they can teleport. Sometimes they go missing. I don't like them. And then the other enemy is the Hellhounds, which is pretty standard in zombies anyway. And then the very final thing I would mention that makes Moon what it is the excavators. Basically what these do is block off your paths and remove oxygen from the building. So the whole idea is you make sure that you stop them before they come down and cut everything up. Yeah, just like the Astronaut, it's another constant threat that you have to always be wary of. I've gone through games where I just haven't noticed they're coming. I've played listening to music and they end up causing me problems. As you see, there are a ton of things that make Moon special. It's got a very good underrated wonder weapon. The QEDs, even though I rarely get to use them because I never get them from the box, and when I do, I haven't even experienced half of its abilities. It's fun, but I think if I had to describe Moon as a whole, it would be, it's a map that you have to pay attention on. It's not really one where I can just sit back, relax, and play. It's a more serious map. Sometimes that's good, but sometimes it isn't, and I've always just seen it as a map that, I don't know, I'll play maybe once every 6 months. As I said at the beginning, would I miss it if it didn't exist and we had that Paris map instead? I'm gonna say yes, because at the end of the day, going to the moon, if we didn't have this map, I think it's something we'd all be asking for anyway. So there we go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed the video today. If you have, drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.